I'll present it first. What's going on, guys? Welcome to a brand new YouTube video. I'm gonna do a full day of eating and have a little tutorial at the end on how to track your own macros and how to calculate your own macros. So for meal number one, I got 3 chocolate chip pancakes, 3 strips of bacon, 2 eggs, an egg white, and half a cup of berries. This meal right here comes out to 50 carbs, 25 fat, 35 protein. Right now on the daily, I'm taking in about 3,000 to 3,500 calories. Just trying to basically maintain my weight while putting on a little bit of muscle mass. So I'm in a small calorie surplus, but besides that, I'm gonna eat this meal and then I'll holler at you guys at the next one. So this right here is an iced coffee maker by Mr. Coffee. I got it for Christmas from Lydia's mother. If you are somebody who likes iced coffee, I would highly recommend you get one of these. I use it basically every single day since I've gotten it. And then basically it just brews black coffee, and I just put some syrup from the grocery store in there and some sugar, and it's ready to go. All right, guys, so now for the supplements that I take in the morning. Normally I would have a multivitamin as well, but this is all I got right now. I'm all out of the multivitamin. Vitamin C, also almost out. Elbow grease, which is a joint support from Action Sledge. L-arginine, which helps with blood flow and vascularity. And then creatine monohydrate, which helps with obviously getting creatine to your muscles. And so what I will do is I'll take my water here, put a little bit in the glass, take my creatine, put a scoop of that in there. I've measured it out before, and this scoop is about 5 grams, so that works out perfect. I just leave that spoon in there. And then I'll put 1 scoop of arginine in there. And I'll also take 1 scoop of arginine before my workout. This isn't a very pleasant shot, but it's better than adding it to a drink and having it taste nasty. The creatine is flavorless, and so is the arginine, but they each have like their supplemental flavors that just don't taste good with other flavors. So I just prefer to take it like this. Sometimes I'll add the creatine to a protein shake or whatnot, but more times than not, I'll just take it like this. So now, elbow grease. I take 3 capsules. I believe that the prescribed amount is 4. It is, but I just take 3 because if you take 4, you'll blow through it so fast. So 3, you're still getting the benefits from it, but saving a few servings as well. And then vitamin C, especially right now with coronavirus and all this stuff going on. It's the winter, cold and flu season. Make sure you keep your vitamin C high, keep that immune system boosted. So boom, that's the supplements I take in the morning. Like I said, normally I have a men's multivitamin with that, and that's pretty much it. So I'll see you guys at the next meal. All right, guys, so meal number 2 is going down. We got New York strip steak, water boiling for some white rice over here. This is gonna be our pre-workout meal. For my pre-workout meal, I normally have this about 2.5 to 3 hours before the gym. I just make sure it's high carb, high protein, and low fat. Obviously with the steak, you get a decent amount of fat, so that will help there. There's a lot of people that enjoy fats when going to work out. They think it gives them the energy, and I'm not saying it doesn't, but for me, I just feel groggy and I feel like I'm dragging my feet if I have a lot of fat pre-workout. So I prefer to stick to high protein, high carb, whatever works for you best though. As long as you're getting your macros in throughout the day, you should be able to perform pretty well when you're stepping in the gym. So got these going. I'll show you the finished product. I'll give you the macros, and then I got the tutorial for you guys. All right, guys, so meal number 2 is done. I've got about 6 ounces of cooked steak right here, and then 1 cup of white rice, a little bit more than 1 cup, but I just qualified as 1 cup because it was barely over. So yeah, I'm about to put this meal down, and then I will give you guys a tutorial on how to track your own macros and what macros are. See you then. All right, guys, welcome to the main portion of this video. I had to throw this hat on because I'm in need of a haircut, and I refuse to look at myself like that. So in this portion, we will be discussing what macros are, and then I'll break down how you can find your own macros for yourself and how to track and when to make adjustments, etc. So I got this whiteboard here. Maybe this will be a start to a series. If you guys don't know, I'm an online coach on my free time. And so maybe I'll start a series of just things that help me coach other people, and then just things that you can use in your everyday life. So what are macros? Macros are carbs, fats, proteins. So these are macronutrients, and these are, as you can see, what make up most of your diet. So with macros, you obviously have what are called micronutrients. Those would be things like fiber, sodium, iron, cobalt, etc. All the little things that you don't really think about that might be in your fruits and vegetables, all the things that will keep you healthy year round that you need to think about. But what we will talk about today are macros: carbs, fats, proteins. All right, guys, so these are the main things that we will cover in today's video. Macros, we already kind of went over that. How to find your maintenance calories. Then from there, we'll find your fats and proteins. Moving on, we'll find carbs. And then we will talk about weigh-ins and how to make your own adjustments for yourself. All right, guys, so we'll start off with maintenance, since we already talked about what macros are. So maintenance would be your maintenance calories. If you were sitting on the couch every single day, or sitting in a chair, just relaxing, what the amount of calories you would need to fuel your body to stay the exact same weight. So I talked about earlier, I'm kind of in a maintenance slight surplus. So this is what I'm kind of doing right now. So I'm gonna break this down for you, and we'll go from there. All right, guys, so to find your maintenance calories, we are gonna do a formula. There'll be a few formulas in this, so if you need to, write them down, grab a notebook, whatever you need to do. So first formula will be body weight. The BW stands for body weight, times 14 to 16. So obviously this is a range. How do you know where you are in that range? So 14 would be people who have a desk job, don't really work out, don't really do much, sit around a lot throughout the day, not in a bad way, but that's just how you go throughout your day. Then we'll have 15 there and 16. So 16 would be, I like to think of construction workers, people who are running around all day, marathon runners, people who exercise, like your exercise got to be through the roof. So for me, you can look at myself. I work out every single day. I stand on my feet at work, but I would put myself right here in this 15 range. Obviously, there's no numbers on here, but I would put myself in this 15 range just because I'm not burning excess amount of calories throughout the day that would make me be super deprived. So we're gonna go. Let's see. We'll have Johnny here. So Johnny's 200 pounds. So we'll do body weight. And we'll say Johnny is, like myself, active, but not excessive. Works a decent job where he's moving around. So we'll do Johnny times 15. So his body weight is 200 pounds. 200 pounds times 15. All right, so we'll have body weight times 15 based on his activity level. And this will give us 3,000. Boom. So if you're a 200-pound individual who has a decently good active day, which isn't too lazy or too excessively busy, and I don't say lazy in a bad way, that's just how your day goes, this would be your caloric intake for you to find your maintenance. So for you at home, you can do this. All you have to do is take your body weight, whatever it might be, find your range, find where you are in this range, and then input these numbers and you'll find your maintenance. So now, if you're dieting or if you are bulking will depend on how you switch these numbers. So if Johnny is dieting, you'll want to be in caloric deficit, excuse me. Caloric deficit means that you are intaking less calories than your maintenance, so you'll be losing weight at a gradual pace. So for me, I like to start my clients. There's a kind of a wide range of what a good diet or good deficit would be. I like to start my clients minus 300 right off the bat. This will bring us to 2,700 calories. So Johnny, if he was starting with me, would be at 2,700 calories, which honestly might be a little bit high, but I like to start this way because the first week or two, you're in a deficit, but you aren't limiting yourself to the point where you're gonna quit right away. You wanna put yourself in a sustainable state where you could keep moving forward and keep making progress. If you put yourself down, if I put Johnny at 1,700 calories, Johnny will have no energy, Johnny will be tired, and he'll be hurting and ready to give up right away. So I like to move him down in increments of 300. You'll see people move down in increments from like 200 to 600, 700 would be a good enough range for me. So now that we found Johnny's maintenance calories and put him in a caloric deficit at 2,700 calories, we are going to find. All right, guys, so next step, we're gonna find the fats and proteins, or protein and fat, whichever way you wanna look at it. So first, we're back to another formula. If you got your notebook out, go ahead and copy this down. This will be to find your protein intake. So Johnny is 200 pounds. If you see, it's body weight times 0.75 to 1.25. I'll touch on that in a second. So Johnny, 200 pounds times 0.75 to 1.25. So you see ranges here all the time, as we saw with the 14 to 16. So 0.75 to 1.25, everybody has something different that they go with. Some people don't think you need as much protein. Some people think they need a lot of protein. I like to start everybody at 1 gram of protein per pound of body weight. You'll see studies that use 1 pound of protein per pound of lean body mass. I think this way is just a lot easier to just get right to the point, and then if need be, we can adjust moving forward. So we'll do 200 pounds times 1, and this will be obviously 200. So I'm gonna put this here, and this is grams of protein. So 200 grams protein. So whatever yours is, go ahead and write that down so you can keep track with us. So this is what I would start most people at. If you are heavily overweight, if you have like no muscle on your body, you aren't going to be doing a lot of training, you're very, very, very new to training at all, I would start maybe in this 0.75. But like I said, I start everybody at 1 gram, and then we just move on from there and see what happens. So if you do need to start at 0.75, go ahead and we'll move on from there. All right, now we're gonna find Johnny's fat intake. So I wanna start this off by saying fats aren't necessarily bad. It sounds bad when you say it because for some reason fat has the association with being bad. So a certain amount of dietary fats are needed for your body to function and be able to move and take care of what you need to accordingly. So don't think that going on the higher end of this range, which I will talk about, will throw you off or make you become fat. So this range right here is going to be 0.3 to 0.5. I'll talk on that in a second. So we got Johnny's body weight times this range. So if you are a person who enjoys carbs more than fats, so carbs would be rice, pasta, fruits, things like that, rice cakes, all that kind of stuff. And then fats would be peanut butters, almond butter, any type of butters, nuts, all that kind of stuff. That would be your fats. So if you enjoy carbs more than fats, you're going to go on the lower end. If you enjoy fats more than carbs, you're going to go on the higher end. So let's just say Johnny doesn't care. He has no preference either way. If you don't have a preference like myself, just stick with 0.35. You could be right in the middle and then it won't matter. If you are unsure, you have no idea, you don't know where to start, Just think about it for a second. Pick one of these numbers and then just stick with it. Stick with it for 2 to 3 weeks before you adjust, and just see how it goes. So we're gonna just go with 0.35 for Johnny, and then we'll get his fats taken care of. So Johnny's body fat or body weight times 0.35, right in the middle of our range, will be 70. And again, this is grams. So Johnny will be intaking 70 grams of fat in his diet. And again, if you didn't catch that or you need it again, just go ahead and rewind and catch yourself up. So now we are going to talk about how to find your carbs. So we'll get right to that. We'll obviously still stick with Johnny. Johnny's total caloric intake to be in a slight caloric deficit in a diet would be 2,700 calories that we found earlier. All right, so now moving forward, we're gonna be able to find carbs based on our proteins and fat. So so to start, protein has 4 calories per 1 gram. 4 calories per 1 gram. Fat has 9 calories per 1 gram. That's why fats are gonna be way lower than your protein, or it should be. And then moving forward, carbs, which we'll figure out in a second, have 4 calories per 1 gram. So obviously Johnny, we can do some math over here for him and we'll figure this out really easy. So Johnny, if you multiply his 200 grams of protein by the 4 calories, you will get 800 calories. So obviously you do 200, which was his grams of protein, times the 4, which was calories, and you get 800, and this will be calories as well. Moving forward with fats, Johnny has 70 grams of fat in his diet, times the 9 calories that come from 1 gram of fat, and this will get you 630 calories. So now that we know his total calories to put himself in a caloric deficit, and then we know his proteins and fats, this will help us find our carbs. So you just do 800 plus 630, boom, 1430, right? So now 270 or 2,700, sorry, minus 1430. So you do your math right here. You add these two numbers, proteins and fat, and you get your total. And then you subtract that from the total amount of calories to put you in a deficit. Right here, 2,700 minus 1430. This will give you 1270. And yes, I have a calculator that I'm using. So now, I said that carbs are 4 calories per 1 gram. Now we can take this 1270 and divide it by 4 and find his carbs. All right, so 1270 divided by 4 will give us 317.5. For me, I would just round down here since he wants to be in a deficit. The 0.5 won't really help. So 1270, which is our calories left over after proteins and fats, gives us 1270, and we divide that by 4 because each carb has 4 calories per 1 gram, and it'll give us 317 grams. So to just break it down one last time, we have 200 grams of protein, 70 grams of fat, and 319 grams of carbs, which leave us with right around, since we took off that half, 2,700 calories for Johnny. So, you might ask, what to do next? So, if I was you, I would download an app. There's plenty of apps out that will help you track your macros, help you find your macros. There's plenty of ways to do it. So if you download one of those apps and you go through it and go through the process and it comes up with different numbers, that might be why. But this is what I recommend to start. You don't have to take my advice if you don't want to. So from there, you'll input these as your macros in the app. I suggest you use MyFitnessPal. That's what I use. It's probably the most widely used app for tracking macros or tracking any caloric intake for that reason, and input it there. So you'll track every day. Track your food, find what works for you, find foods that work for you. I'll have a list of foods by source in the description. Go down there, you can see a bunch of proteins, a bunch of fats, a bunch of carbs. There's way more than what I'm gonna add, but it'll just be a start for you to get a look at. And then you might ask, when should you weigh yourself and how should you make adjustments if your diet isn't going the way you want? So to touch on when to weigh in, I recommend all my clients weigh in every single morning on an empty stomach after you use the bathroom. This will make sure that no matter how you ate yesterday, no matter what time of day you got done eating, we're always staying at the same time. So the way you want to look at it is at the end of the week, go back, look at all your days, all 7 days, and see what the trend is. Obviously, some days you might go up, some days you might go down. There will be a lot of fluctuation every single day. So if you go up one day, don't be worried and drop all your macros super low. Just stick with it and just keep weighing yourself every day. At the end of the week, look at the trace. And if it's going down, you're in a good spot. That's just what you want to do. This will help you lose from anywhere between half a pound to 1.5 pounds a week, which is, I think, for not restricting yourself, is very good. Like I said, moving forward, what if you get to a place where you have reached either a plateau or these numbers aren't working for you anymore and you started too high so your weight's gaining? What should you do next? I would recommend, and there's multiple ways you can do this, my recommendation would be drop your total calories 300 grams. So for Johnny, we would take his calories from 2,700 to 2,400, and then you would complete the same process once again to find your macros. I think this works best because if you're only dropping 300 calories per adjustment, you aren't going to be throwing yourself super low into a deficit where it's not sustainable, and you'll end up just cheating on the diet or quitting or giving up. The main point in all of this is that you can pick foods and pick calories and all that kind of stuff that suits you and your lifestyle. You don't have to say, oh crap, I can't eat this, I can't have this. You might have to have it in moderation or just a little bit at a time. But you should always be able to eat the foods, at least in the morning, that you enjoy, and they should always be able to fit them in your macros. So for adjustments, I would recommend 300 calories at a time, nothing too high, nothing too low, and then go from there. Track for at least 2.5 to 3 weeks before adjusting your macros again. Very last thing I want to touch on, and then we'll get off of this topic, is how should you set up your tracking app? So there's plenty of people who obviously do everything completely different, and there's no right or wrong way to do this. I would say if you are very, 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 very new to this, the day before, the night before, set up in your head what you're gonna eat. Go into your MyFitnessPal app or whatever app you decide to download and put in the exact foods in the amounts that will get you to these macros or to your specific macros, to the macros that fit your diet. This will help you know exactly when you wake up the next day, know exactly what foods you have to eat, and you won't be guessing. You'll see a lot of people who just don't track or don't input anything until the day of, and then they find themselves 6 o'clock at night and they already had all their food because they didn't plan it out accordingly, or vice versa, it's 6 p.m. at night and they had one meal and only 500 calories, and now they're trying to force feed themselves, which isn't a good deal either. So make sure if you're very new, I would suggest you input this the night before or the day before, or input your whole week, whatever you need to do to make yourself successful. If you have any questions, please don't hesitate to reach out to me. You can message me on Instagram at EasyPitch, or email me on my coaching email at pitchfredcoaching@gmail.com. Obviously, I'm an online coach, so I will answer your questions to the best of my ability for absolutely free. And if you guys are interested in coaching, feel free to reach out, drop a comment down below, and let me know what you think. Now we'll get back to the video. All right, guys, so I got meal number 3 here. 6 ounces of chicken teriyaki and a cup and a half of white rice. And then right here I've got Fairlife and 2 scoops of Action Sledge glazed donut protein. After this meal, I got 60 protein and 70 carbs left and about 17 fat. So I'm about to eat this meal. It's already 8:30 as you can see, but I'm gonna make sure I get the rest of those macros in tonight, and then I'll show you guys what I'm eating. All right, guys, so to finish off my night and to finish off my macros, I'm gonna have 12 ounces of this Fairlife chocolate milk, and then 2 of these Chobani Greek yogurts. That'll put me right in my macros for today. I think I'll be like 5 grams under each one, and that just gives me room to play. So tomorrow, if I'm 5 grams over, it's not a big deal. So that's a full day of eating and a macro video for you guys. I hope you guys enjoyed. Thank you for checking it out. Make sure you guys like, comment, subscribe, and check out the next video.